If you are here, it's not by accident. Something important is about to happen in your life, and this video is exactly what you need to hear right now. Before we begin, do me a favor. Hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss the energetic shift that is about to occur in your life. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Now I want you to take your place in this new chapter. Write in the comments, "I accept my destiny," because that's exactly what you are doing by being here. Let's begin and unlock the power that lies within you. Before something significant happens in life, like winning the lottery, encountering life-changing opportunities, or experiencing a complete shift in reality, there's often a strange sensation. It's not loud, it's not dramatic. It doesn't come with flashing signs or claps of thunder. In fact, most people don't even notice it. But those who do start to see a pattern. Before something incredible happens, there is usually a pause, an unexplainable calm. This isn't the calm that follows chaos. It's the calm that precedes creation. Everything around you may look the same as before, but inside, you feel that something has shifted. You may feel somewhat detached from your usual concerns. Things that used to bother you no longer feel as heavy. You begin to trust without even knowing why. This is not your imagination. It's alignment. Spiritual teachers and energy experts have been pointing to this quiet shift for many years. Dr. Joe Dispenza often talks about the importance of thinking beyond your current environment and acting as if the desired future has already arrived. This is not just wishful thinking, it's science and energy working together. He teaches that real change begins when you stop reacting to your current circumstances and start creating from a new emotional state. That's when you step into the unknown, and strangely enough, that's when everything begins to shift in your favor, often without warning. Think of someone who visualizes abundance, not by begging or forcing it, but by living in a state of calm, confidence, and inner wealth. Their external world still looks normal, maybe even boring, but they feel calm, they feel ready, they've stopped chasing and started embodying. Usually, this is the moment when the breakthrough happens. People who suddenly strike it rich, whether with money, success, love, or clarity, often describe very similar feelings right before it happened. They weren't desperate, they weren't afraid, they were in a state of surrender. They weren't pretending to believe. They had become the kind of person who no longer needed convincing. It is this emotional shift that changes everything. Imagine your life as a radio. If you keep tuning into the same frequency, fear, doubt, impatience, you'll continue to receive signals that match that vibration. But when you start tuning into a higher frequency, one of peace, gratitude, and abundance, you begin to hear an entirely different song. This shift doesn't happen through force. It happens through awareness. That's why the strange silence, a kind of emotional calm, is often the first sign that you are aligned with something greater. It may feel like you're being unproductive, that nothing is happening, but that's not true. The energy is recalibrating. You're becoming the version of yourself that matches the outcome you've been aiming for. And this isn't just theory, it shows up in real life. There are countless examples of people who experience sudden breakthroughs after a period of deep stillness. A woman who lost her job during a crisis spent weeks doing nothing but walking in nature, journaling, and sitting in silence. No big plans, no interviews, just silence. One day, out of nowhere, a long-lost acquaintance reached out to her and offered her a job with a salary far higher than anything she had ever earned before. She didn't chase it. She simply received it. Another man, who had been drowning in debt for years, decided to stop forcing things. He stopped obsessing over how to fix everything. He focused on feeling better, breathing deeper, and living more simply. 2 months later, a piece of real estate he had long forgotten about significantly increased in value, allowing him to sell it and start fresh. Stories like these are not uncommon. They just aren't often talked about. People don't always speak about the calm before the breakthrough, but it exists. And if you've been feeling it lately, the pause, the unexplained sense of peace, don't ignore it. The universe is rearranging things behind the scenes. Life is making space for the jackpot. There's a quote by Dr. Joe Dispenza that perfectly captures this idea. Your personality creates your personal reality. If you want a new reality, you have to become a new version of yourself. This doesn't mean changing your essence. It means releasing the patterns you no longer need. It means acting, thinking, and feeling like the person who has already had the breakthrough, not like the person still waiting for it. This emotional shift in identity is the key to success. Let's say someone wants to achieve great success, financial, emotional, or spiritual. If their energy is rooted in lack, they will continue to attract lack. But the moment they start feeling like the person who already has everything they've asked for, their frequency changes. And when their frequency changes, their experience begins to shift as well. The feeling of already having is extremely powerful. It tells the universe, I am ready. Not just with words, but with vibration. But here's the secret. It's not about pretending. It's not about layering positive thoughts over anxiety. It's about reaching a state where you genuinely feel neutral, calm, and even grateful for where you are. That's when you are closest to the breakthrough. Many people think the moment before something big will feel chaotic or intense. But in reality, it's often the opposite. The moment before the jackpot often feels strangely calm. It's not a loud voice in your head. It's the whisper of your soul. It's the moment when you stop trying and start allowing. That's why it's so important not to ignore this quiet phase. Stillness is not laziness. Silence is not failure. It's preparation. Picture a slingshot. The farther you pull it back, the stronger the launch will be. If life feels like it is slowed down, if you feel like you're being pulled back or held in place, it may be because you're being prepared for a rapid leap forward. And this is where trust comes in. Trust is not passivity. It's power. It says to the universe, I don't need to see all the proof right now. I know something is coming. I can feel it. This kind of energy attracts opportunities to you in ways your logical mind cannot explain. The signs are everywhere if you know what to look for. A sudden detachment from things that used to stress you. A desire to tidy not only your home, but also your relationships, your thoughts, your habits. A craving for simplicity. A thirst for silence. All of these are energetic shifts that often appear right before something significant enters your life. And yes, there are other signs as well. Repeating numbers may start appearing more frequently, such as 300, 33, or 111. You may feel an unshakable sense that something is about to happen. This is not a coincidence. It's a reflection of your internal state becoming more aligned with the flow of abundance. But the most important sign is peace. A peace that doesn't come from having what you want, but from knowing you are already on the right path. It's the kind of peace that brings the jackpot. Not only in money, but also in love, clarity, purpose, and joy. So if you've been feeling this peace lately, even if nothing around you has changed, hold on to it. It's a signal. It's an inner click that means external change has already begun. Stay in that energy. Don't rush. Don't doubt. Simply keep moving in the same direction. You're not being ignored. You're being prepared. And what comes next? It will be worth every quiet moment you didn't understand. Before your life changes dramatically, something interesting happens. It's usually not loud or dramatic. In fact, it's often quiet, gentle, and subtle. You may feel the urge to clear your space, finish something you left unfinished months ago, or reach out to someone you haven't spoken to in years. It may seem random, like you're just trying to get organized. But it's not. It's a signal, a divine signal. When you are close to winning your jackpot, whether it's a relationship, a breakthrough, a financial leap, or some other dream, it doesn't always show up as fireworks in the sky. Most often, it begins with a strange feeling of inner readiness, as if your soul knows something before your eyes can see it. Many call this a spiritual clearing. Your inner world starts letting go of the unnecessary. You feel a pull towards simplification, a reset, a release of what no longer aligns with you. Not because life is slowing down, but because it's preparing to accelerate in the direction you've long been aiming for. And the truth is, your external life cannot change until your inner world makes space for it. That's how it works. Dr. Joe Dispenza explains this beautifully. Your personality creates your personal reality. What he means is that the thoughts you repeat, the emotions you hold, and the actions you take shape your life, day by day, layer by layer. If you want a new outcome, you must become the person who naturally lives in that new reality. So when you start feeling the urge to change your routine, shift your thinking, or release old emotional baggage, it's not just self-help, it's spiritual preparation. And here's what's even more real. Before something significant happens, many people feel this peaceful shift that has no logical explanation. It's not a loud peace. It's not the everything is perfect kind of peace. It's more like a calm knowing, as if something inside you has stopped fighting. You are no longer chasing your goal with desperation. You simply accept it. You live as if it's already your reality, even if your current life doesn't yet reflect it. This is one of the clearest signs that change is near. You stop chasing and start embodying. You begin to express the version of yourself that has already achieved it. Not pretending, not forcing, but genuinely feeling at the level of your nervous system that it has already happened. And then you start noticing small signs, not major victories yet, but synchronicities, flashes, repeating numbers, unexpected bursts of energy, a conversation that feels meant just for you. This is not coincidence, this is confirmation. Gentle signals that your inner clarity is beginning to align with the clarity of the life you've been asking for. And here's what's most interesting. Most people ignore this phase because it doesn't feel exciting. It feels calm, quiet, sometimes even boring. But this silence is sacred. It's the moment when your old self falls away and your new self begins to spread its wings. You know how people always say, it's darkest just before the dawn? That's not just a poetic phrase, it's a deep truth. Because before big changes, the universe often invites you to pause, to slow down, to listen, and sometimes to wait. This in-between state, where you're no longer who you were but not yet who you're becoming, is very powerful. Dr. Joe Dispenza often speaks about this space. He teaches that if you can stay emotionally connected to your vision, even when it seems like nothing is happening, you shorten the timeline. He writes, "At the moment you begin to feel wealthy and worthy, you create wealth. At the moment you step into your power and feel it, you start moving toward your dream." So if you're in a period right now where everything feels slowed down, where you're clearing your space, rethinking your goals, healing old wounds, and feeling a little more balanced than usual, this is not a delay. This is not a detour. This is divine alignment. This is what happens right before the miracle. And yes, you may still have doubts. That's part of the process. You may feel fear or have moments where you think, what if I'm wrong? But those moments don't mean you're failing. They mean you're human. Your task is not to be fearless. It's to keep choosing your purpose, even if your hands are shaking. Because right before the jackpot comes, there is always a test of alignment. Not a test you need to pass perfectly, but a test you need to pass with trust. The universe wants to know if you're ready to receive without clinging. Are you ready to allow rather than control? Will you walk as if it's already yours before you see it with your eyes? And when you do, when you release the old story, stop forcing outcomes, and genuinely trust the path, that's when everything starts to shift. Not just on the outside, but within. So if you feel the pull to simplify your life, if you're experiencing moments of clarity, if you're once again finding joy in small things, don't ignore it. This is your sign. The jackpot doesn't always arrive in shiny red wrapping. Sometimes it shows up as a clean room, a deep breath, or a sudden realization that you no longer need to chase because it's already coming. And you are already preparing for it. And this is the moment when everything begins to align. The quiet buildup, the invisible alignment, the sacred pause. So embrace it. Stay with it. Keep showing up. Because the version of you who already has everything you've asked for, that version is not a fantasy. It's very close. And you are already becoming it. You may start to notice things you hadn't noticed before. More vivid dreams, waking up in the middle of the night for no reason, or sudden realizations about what others are feeling. This is not coincidence. The universe is tuning you for something deeper. Your system is calibrating to a new frequency because something important is coming. Something has aligned. And right before that moment, before the breakthrough, before the jackpot, life becomes a little more intense. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because your consciousness is expanding. You begin to feel more, sense more, and understand more than ever before. This is the time to pay attention not only to what's happening around you, but to what's changing within you. Pay attention to how your thoughts are shifting. Pay attention to how things that once confused you now seem obvious, or how some opportunities that once excited you no longer attract you. This is clarity. This is alignment. What you're feeling now, these nudges, this quiet confidence, these sparks of understanding, is your inner navigation system lighting the path forward. These signs may seem subtle, but they are incredibly powerful. This is how alignment begins. It's not a loud shout from the heavens. It's often a whisper from within. The mind may try to dismiss it, but the body knows. Pay attention to what feels like a full body yes. It's that sense of peace in your chest, the stillness in your belly, the slight smile that appears out of nowhere. That is reality. That is what's guiding you to your next chapter. And it's not just about staying positive. It's about becoming deeply present. When life starts to feel heavy, when it seems like nothing is moving, it's easy to fall into fear or doubt. But it's in those moments that faith matters most. Not only faith in something greater, but faith in yourself. That inner voice quietly whispering, "Keep going," knows the way. Dr. Joe Dispenza speaks about how thoughts become reality, not just in theory, but in life. Every time a person thinks about something and attaches a strong emotion to that thought, they are sending out a signal. That signal enters the quantum field and begins to attract corresponding events. This isn't just wishing, this is science. It's about tuning yourself to the energy of what you desire before it appears. This is how the future is created. Not through force, but through frequency. So instead of trying to make something happen, it's better to tune into the right wavelength. Let your strategy be alignment. This doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing what feels right, resting when it feels okay, moving when inspiration arises, speaking the truth, acting from a place of calm confidence, not panic or desperation. When life is about to bless someone with everything they've asked for, it often feels like nothing is happening. This is the test. Can the energy stay stable? Can trust overcome doubt? This is where most people give up, right before the shift. But the truth is, there's always a delay between cause and effect. Seeds don't bloom the day they're planted, and the fact that the results aren't visible yet doesn't mean the energy isn't working in your favor. In fact, when everything feels quiet, when doors seem closed, that's often the moment right before something opens. That's how the universe checks if a person is ready. Are they still showing up? Still believing? Still choosing peace over panic? That's the real secret. Life always responds to energy, and energy doesn't lie. If someone walks through life believing they're already good enough, already worthy, already in their place, life reflects that. Not because of ego, but because of truth. That kind of energy attracts. It doesn't chase. It draws things in. It doesn't force. It flows. So ask yourself, what energy are you radiating today? Is it balanced? Grateful? Patient? Because these quiet, steady vibrations shape what's coming. Dr. Joe Dispenza explains that when a person begins living their future, thinking, acting, and feeling as if they've already achieved what they desire, their reality begins to reorganize itself around that identity. That's how timelines collapse. That's how dreams come faster. It's not magic. It's law. And even when it feels like nothing is happening, everything is happening. Every moment of silence, every pause for reflection, every choice not to react in the old way. That's movement. That's transformation. That's expansion. People think growth always looks like hustle, but sometimes it looks like stillness, like calm, like peace. That's why the quiet moments are so important. They're not empty, they're full. They plant new seeds, they shift beliefs, they clear old patterns, they make room for what is trying to reach you. Now is not the time to doubt your worth. Now is the time to remember it. Because when the inner world changes, the outer world follows. And yes, others may not see this change. Some people won't notice what's blooming until the flowers are in full bloom. That's okay. This path isn't about proving anything. It's about alignment. It's about allowing. That relationship, that career breakthrough, that abundance, they are not meant to impress others. They are meant to align with your soul. It doesn't come when you chase life. It comes when you stand still, knowing you deserve it. Not because of effort or struggle, but because you are in harmony with it. When you stop asking and start believing, everything shifts. When the energy says, "I already am," the world responds, "Here you go." This is what happens right before the jackpot arrives. The old begins to fall away. The noise quiets. Things become clearer, calmer, and in that silence, something begins to build. A life that fits, a love that feels like home, opportunities that don't drain you, but energize you. So breathe. Slow down. Allow the process to unfold, unhurried, because it's happening, all of it. And when it arrives, it won't feel like something completely new. It will feel like a remembering of something that was always yours. Keep tuning in, keep aligning, keep moving forward. You're closer than you think. Sometimes, right before everything changes, there's a strange silence. It's not loud or dramatic, just a quiet sense that something is shifting, even if nothing on the outside seems different. It's that silence that often precedes the breakthrough. Most people think that winning the jackpot, whether it's love, money, peace, or purpose, looks like fireworks. But in reality, it often feels like nothing special. The calm before the storm, the breath before the door opens, the subtle inner nudge that says, "Be ready." You see, the universe doesn't respond to pressure. It responds to alignment. Things don't fall into place when you chase them, force them, or beg for them. They shift when you release them, when you prepare without panic, when you trust the process instead of trying to control it. Dr. Joe Dispenza has spoken about this again and again. When the inner world changes, the outer world follows. When the mind and heart are synchronized, when thoughts and emotions are aligned, life begins to unfold in miraculous ways. And it starts with a feeling. Not a plan, not a checklist, just an awareness. That soft inner knowing that says, something is already happening, even if I can't see it yet. This isn't fantasy, it's a signal. When someone stops obsessing over timing and begins embodying the outcome, they shift their frequency. They stop asking, when will it happen, and start preparing as if it's already happening. And then everything begins to move. Quietly, subtly, powerfully. Before the jackpot arrives, life often clears space. Habits fall away, people leave, plans dissolve, not because something is wrong, but because something greater is trying to enter. So if everything feels slow, if it seems like nothing is happening, that may be the clearest sign that you're close. What appears to be a delay is often preparation. The energy is recalibrating, the timing is refining. Before it happens, there will first be calm. Not because you've given up, but because you've finally stopped chasing. That's when the body relaxes, the mind quiets, and the soul begins to shine again. That's when life starts to match your energy, not your effort. Dr. Joe Dispenza has shown that the body doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined. When you feel the emotions of the life you desire before it arrives, you begin to live it now, and the world catches up to you. The jackpot doesn't arrive to fix you. It arrives because you've become the one who can hold it. That's the shift. That's the real victory. So if you're seeing this right now and feeling that strange silence, don't ignore it. This is not a pause. This is a signal. The energy is aligning. The door is creaking open. And what's coming is bigger than you ever imagined. If this message resonated with your soul, don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights like this. We are all in this journey together, and sharing the energy helps everyone move forward. Now I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever felt that silence before a big shift in your life? What is the greatest change you've experienced when you stopped chasing and simply allowed yourself to be? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue the conversation. And remember, the best is yet to come. Keep believing, keep aligning.